Coming up on today's show.
So what I recommend is for you to do daily brain dumps of what is in your head so that you could further gain clarity.
So when you get stuff out of your mind, it kind of takes away some of the stress, because otherwise your mind is saying, what was that I was thinking about? Oh, I can't quite remember. I knew there was something I was thinking about.
For a very long time, I had this image in my head that a productive person was someone that had the ability to do multiple things, as if she had 8 arms growing out of her body.
5 tips for a more productive day today on Keeping You Organized. Well, hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we are going to make your day more productive. We're going to give you 5 tips on how to do that. And we're going to bring a new podcast guest in, and it's Elva Fonseca, right? Did I do it right?
That is correct, John.
SensationalOrganizing.com. Welcome to Keeping You Organized.
Thank you so much for having me, John.
Well, great. We're really excited to dig into this topic because, first of all, people like tips. They like to be productive. We'll make it easy for them to take in. So I say we just get going right away and jump into tip number 1.
Yes, John. My number 1 tip is to do brain dumps. Keeping things in your head is what I like to call mental backups. So what I recommend is for you to do daily brain dumps of what is in your head so that you could further gain clarity of what you would like to do. We want to grab every thought captive. By writing everything that is clogging up your mind, you can physically see what you have. You can physically see your thoughts and prioritize or completely shut off the noise of what is not important.
Right. I think too, also, when you get stuff out of your mind, it kind of takes away some of the stress, because otherwise your mind is saying, what was that I was thinking about? Oh, I can't quite remember. I knew there was something I was thinking about, and your mind plays games with itself. So getting it written down and dumped down to your mind is a great way to do that.
Yes, that is correct, John. It's very important to get it out of your head and onto paper.
Awesome. Okay, well, what's tip number 2 then for a more productive day?
Tip number 2 is to avoid attempting to multitask. For a very long time, I had this image in my head that a productive person was someone that had the ability to do multiple things, as if she had 8 arms growing out of her body. In order to do these things. And that's insane. We actually don't want to do that. That's counterproductive. So what you want to do is use the Pomodoro technique. That's taking 25 minutes, set it on a timer, and focus on one task at a time.
Right. Yeah, it seems like focusing on one thing, you can do one thing well versus doing 3 things kind of, halfway. And that's, I think, we hear a lot about the Pomodoro technique too. I mean, it's something that really does laser focus you into what you need to get done.
Yes, that's right. And switching between tasks also causes more pressure, stress, and frustration.
Right. Okay, well, how about number 3?
So my tip number 3 is to do time blocking. Use your calendar as a tool to designate days on your calendar, such as running errands, office days, meal prep days, laundry. And this further supports you after you do your brain dump, to designate when you will do that task rather than attempting to do it all in one day.
Right. Now, isn't some of that blocking kind of already determined for you? I mean, how much flexibility does someone have when they put their blocks together?
So you can determine it for yourself, and you can further take it a step further by designating, say, like on your work day, you can schedule an hour for blogging, half an hour for paying your bills, but you've already designated that day as your work day, and so further breaking it down into time chunks on your calendar helps you to, again, focus and be more productive for that day.
That sounds also kind of like that would go along with the second tip of multitasking. So you're not only, you're blocking the time out, but you're really focusing on probably one thing or at least one category per block, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, these are great tips. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll jump into the other two and talk a little bit more about the 5 tips for a productive day. We're with Elva Fonseca, and we'll be right back. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about 5 tips for being productive and having that productive day. We covered 3 of them before the break. Now we're going to dig back into them with Elva Fonseca, sensationalorganizing.com. And Elva, so we've gotten through, the time blocking, and we did the mind dump, and we also, aren't multitasking. So now we have 2 more tips to go. So what is number 4?
My tip number 4 is to create workflows and systems for yourself to further support healthy habits. We want to add less steps between you and the healthy habit and more steps between you and the bad habit to help you further break that habit.
Right.
So tip number 4 was to create a workflow. And examples of that would be to add a tray or a hook next to the door so that when you turn the knob and you get home, you just dump the keys or hang the keys right into their home. And that way you avoid the lost key syndrome.
Oh yeah, I think people who've listened or watched this show over the years know that is probably something I should do. I do have a place for my keys. They're in a drawer, but sometimes I'm not really good about putting them there. And I think what you're talking about too, there's almost this trigger of, remember, when you turn the knob, hang the keys, or something like that, where it's a pretty good, and it's right there too, right by the door, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, right by the door. It's easier to, again, less steps between you and the healthy habit, because when you get home, say with the groceries, you want to we usually dump the tape or put the keys or our purse somewhere else and then just dump the keys in a random location. And that's how we lose our keys.
Yeah. Do you have any examples maybe from existing clients where you've come up with a workflow or a system that you've used and how it's maybe been successful for them? You don't have to use their name or anything, but just kind of the concept.
Yes. So a lot of times I find that clients get into arguments about grocery lists. They're at the grocery list, and then they come home, and then one of the spouse says, well, did you get such and such item? Or Johnny needs such and such item for school, and you forgot what item they needed at school. So a great thing to do is to add a whiteboard to your refrigerator or a command center, a central location, so that when somebody needs something for your home, then you can just have them write it down on the list. Take a snapshot, take it with you to the grocery store, and you've got everything that you need. No more trying to keep things in your head. Keeping your mind clear for what's important.
Right. And part of the challenge of that is getting people to use the system too. So how do you train everybody to use the system?
Again, keeping it in a location where it's going to be used. We don't want to make things complicated. So if the centralized location is your kitchen, that is the hub of the home is the kitchen. So then that's where we want to put the command center or the magnetized board for the grocery list.
We have a little hack that's kind of like that. We have a grocery list, and we hang it on a little metal magnet with a clip on it, and so people can write on the grocery list. But the second hack is the grocery list we have is laid out in the order that the store is. So, it's kind of like a map to the store, and, so that way you don't, circle the store 15 times trying to get everything. You got to get it in the order. So that it's something that we like using. It's kind of fun. Have you seen something like that before?
Yes, yes, I've seen that as well. And the great thing with technology is now you have Instacart. So that even saves you more time. But again, everything's on that list. You don't have to go through your refrigerator trying to figure out what you're low on. Everything's right there, and you can also order faster through Instacart. Saves you a little bit more time.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, we have one more tip, number 5. What's number 5?
Number 5 is to manage your distractions. With distractions everywhere, it's very hard to stay focused on having a productive day. So the TV, for example, is like a magnet. It's a free invitation for you to sit down and procrastinate or postpone that important task, that meaningful task that you need to get done. So turning off the TV and turning off the notifications on your phone. I'd even take it a step further and give your phone a resting spot to stay while you do your to-dos and you take care of some important things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those, and we're getting bombarded with distractions from everywhere. So sometimes I wish I didn't have a cell phone. I wish we didn't have a regular phone, a computer with those little notifications that pop up. You've got to suppress all that stuff because everybody's trying to work their way into your life,
That's right.
Awesome. Well, these are some great tips. I think even if people could put a couple of them into play, their life's going to be more productive. But before we go, let's talk a little bit about your organizing business and how people can get a hold of you and what kind of services you offer.
Yes, John. I help busy professionals and families go from stressed and overwhelmed to energized and hopeful when it comes to their environment or their home living space. And if people would like to get a hold of me, they could reach out to me through my website at sensationalorganizing.com.
Awesome. And you do virtual and in-person organizing?
Yes, I do hands-on and virtual organizing.
Awesome. Well, great. I mean, this is great to have you on. I always like having new podcast guests. I know recently, last few months or so, Leanne was at the NAPO convention. You were there, and so it was great to have you on, and I'm sure we'll have you back.
Thank you, John, so much. Thank you to Leanne for this opportunity.
Awesome. Okay, folks, well, there you have it. Now I think you can have a more productive day. Just put these tips into place. If you can't remember them all, just check out the show links. We'll have them listed there as well. And we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.